Imagine wandering through a desert cave and stumbling upon a treasure that could rewrite history. That's exactly what happened in 1947. A young Bedouin shepherd, chasing a stray goat near the Dead Sea, tossed a rock into a cave and heard something shatter. It wasn't just a pod. It was the first of what would become known as the Dead Sea Scrolls, arguably the most significant archaeological discovery of the 20th century. For the next decade, archaeologists and Bedouins scoured the cliffs of Qumran, a rugged plateau on the northwest shore of the Dead Sea. They unearthed a total of 11 caves, packed with ancient clay jars. Inside these jars, carefully wrapped in linen, were nearly 1,000 different manuscripts. These weren't just random papers. They were ancient Jewish texts, written on parchment and papyrus, dating back over 2,000 years, from the 3rd century BC to the 1st century AD. So what's so special about these scrolls? Well, for starters, they contain the oldest known copies of the Hebrew Bible, or what Christians call the Old Testament. Before their discovery, the oldest complete manuscripts were from the 10th century AD. The scrolls push that date back a full millennium. Imagine finding a version of Isaiah, perfectly preserved, that was written 1,000 years earlier than any other copy known to exist. It was a biblical scholar's dream come true. But it wasn't just biblical texts. The scrolls also contained a treasure trove of previously unknown writings. There were community rules, legal documents, calendars, and even mystical texts that gave us an unprecedented look into the beliefs and daily life of a Jewish sect living during the time of Jesus. Many scholars believe this community was the Essenes, a group known for their strict piety and communal living, who had withdrawn into the desert to await the end of days. Their library, hidden away in these caves, was a snapshot of a vibrant and diverse period in religious history. The discovery also sparked a massive archaeological effort at the site of Qumran itself. Excavations revealed the ruins of a settlement, complete with ritual baths, a scriptorium where scribes likely copied the scrolls, and a communal dining hall. It was like finding the lost headquarters of the people who created this incredible library. Every pottery shard and ancient inkwell told a piece of their story, painting a picture of a dedicated community preparing for a new age. Over 70 years later, the study of the Dead Sea Scrolls continues to reveal new secrets. Using advanced technology like multispectral imaging and DNA analysis, researchers are piecing together fragmented texts and even identifying the types of animal skins used for the parchment. These ancient documents are a direct link to the past, a time capsule that survived empires, wars, and the harsh desert climate to deliver its message to us. They remind us that history isn't just a story in a book. It's a tangible thing, waiting to be discovered in the most unexpected of places. And evidence of a final stand. But the story of what happened there is still debated. Was it exactly as ancient writers described? Or did time change the story? Archaeology does not just confirm history. Sometimes it challenges it. In the city of David, deep under modern homes, excavations revealed a large stone structure. Some believed it could be connected to the time of King David. Others said there is not enough proof. The debate continues. Every stone becomes part of a bigger argument. And that is what makes Israel archaeology documentaries so powerful. They are not just about old things. They are about identity, memory, belief, evidence. In Caesarea, under the ruins of a Roman theater, a stone was found with a name carved into it: Pontius Pilate, a Roman governor mentioned in ancient texts. For many years, some questioned if he was real. Then the stone appeared. It did not tell his full story, but it proved he existed. A small piece of rock changed the discussion. This is how archaeology works. Not with magic, not with myths, but with soil, patience, and proof. Still, sometimes proof brings new mystery. In the hills of Jerusalem, small clay seals were discovered. They once sealed important documents. Some seals carried names mentioned in ancient writings. But were they the same people? Or just common names? Archaeology cannot always answer that. It can only show what is there, and what is not. Years after the first scrolls were found, more caves were searched near Qumran. More fragments were discovered. Some scrolls were broken into hundreds of pieces. Experts spent decades trying to put them back together, like a giant ancient puzzle. But here's the strange part. Not all caves had scrolls. Some had nothing. Some had empty jars. Why hide jars with nothing inside? Were scrolls taken long ago? Were they hidden somewhere else? Or are we still missing something buried beneath the sand? One discovery led to another, then another, each one raising hope, each one raising doubt. And then came the most unexpected twist. In 2017, archaeologists announced they had found a new cave near Qumran. It looked promising. Inside, they found broken jars, cloth, signs that scrolls may have once been there. But there were no scrolls. Only evidence that someone had looted the cave long ago. Someone had reached it before modern archaeologists. Someone had taken what was inside and vanished. The desert had kept its secret. But now that secret had been disturbed. What was taken? Where did it go? Are there more caves still waiting? Or have some of history's greatest texts already been lost forever? As the sun sets over the cliffs of the Dead Sea, the caves turn dark again. The wind moves softly through the hills. And beneath the earth of Israel, thousands of years of history remain buried. Not everything has been found. Not every story has been told. And somewhere in that rocky desert, hidden in shadow, another cave may still be waiting. Waiting for the sound of a stone striking clay. Waiting to reveal something that could change everything we think we know. But what if the next discovery does not confirm history? What if it challenges it? And what if the truth has been there all along, buried just a few inches deeper than anyone has ever dug? The tunnel was not on any map. It was narrow, cold, and silent. A young archaeologist crawled forward with only a small flashlight in her hand. Dust filled the air. The stone walls pressed close around her shoulders. She was deep beneath Jerusalem. Above her, cars moved through busy streets. People drank coffee. Children walked to school. But under their feet, another world waited. And at the end of that tunnel, carved into the rock, she saw something that made her stop breathing. It was a stone wall. Massive, ancient, older than anyone expected. And it did not match the timeline written in textbooks. To understand this moment, we must go back. Jerusalem is not just a city. It is layers stacked on layers. Every time someone digs, they travel backward in time. 1 foot below the surface might be from 1,000 years ago. 2 feet below, 2,000 years ago. 5 feet below, maybe 3,000 years ago. The deeper you go, the older the story becomes. Archaeologists in Israel do not just dig down. They dig through time. In the area known as the City of David, excavations have revealed streets, homes, water systems, and fortifications from different eras. Canaanite, Israelite, Roman, Byzantine, Islamic, Crusader, Ottoman. Each layer tells a story. But sometimes those stories do not line up neatly. Years ago, excavators uncovered what they believed was part of a large ancient structure. Huge stones, thick walls, foundations built to support something powerful. Some researchers believed it could date back to the time traditionally linked to King David. Others said it was later. The argument was not small. It was intense. Because if the structure was from the 10th century BCE, it could reshape how scholars understand the early kingdom of Israel. But archaeology is careful. It does not jump to conclusions. Soil layers. Everything must be tested. Still, questions remained. And then there were the tunnels. Jerusalem's underground passages are like veins beneath the earth. Some were built to protect water sources. Some were escape routes. Some were forgotten for centuries. In one tunnel, archaeologists found a drainage channel from the Roman period. It ran beneath an ancient street. Inside the channel, they found cooking pots, oil lamps, coins, and signs that people had hidden there. Historians believe it may connect to the Roman destruction of Jerusalem in 70 CE, when Roman legions surrounded the city, when fire and chaos filled the streets, when the Second Temple was destroyed. But even here, archaeology speaks carefully. It shows evidence of destruction, burned layers, collapsed walls, but it does not show every human emotion. It cannot show fear. It cannot show hope. It can only show what survived. And sometimes, what survived is powerful. Near the Western Wall, excavations uncovered ancient streets buried under rubble. When the Romans destroyed Jerusalem, they pushed massive stones down from above. Those stones still lie where they fell. You can see them today. Huge blocks of limestone, frozen in time. They are not myths. They are not stories. They are physical evidence. But Israel archaeology documentaries do not only focus on Jerusalem. Far to the north lies Hazor, once one of the largest cities in ancient Canaan. Excavations there revealed a burned palace, statues smashed, fire layers thick and dark. Some scholars linked this destruction to ancient military campaigns. Others cautioned that many cities in that period faced similar ends. Was it invasion? Internal revolt? Regional collapse? The Late Bronze Age was a time of chaos across the eastern Mediterranean. Empires weakened. Trade routes failed. Cities burned. Hazor was not alone. And that raises a bigger question. How much of what happened in ancient Israel was part of a larger regional story? How much was local? Archaeology does not isolate one land from the rest. It connects everything. Egypt, Mesopotamia, Phoenicia, the Hittites. Beneath the sun-scorched earth of modern-day Israel, a story is being pieced together, fragment by fragment. This isn't just a tale of ancient kings and epic battles. It's the real, tangible history of a land that has shaped our world. For centuries, many stories from the Bible were just that, stories. But archaeology is changing everything, turning faith into fact and myth into history. Today, we read digging deep into the groundbreaking discoveries that are rewriting what we thought we knew about ancient Israel. Imagine a bustling marketplace thousands of years ago. What would you see? Thanks to archaeology, we don't have to imagine. We've found evidence of extensive trade networks connecting Israel with faraway lands. Items from Egypt, Mesopotamia, and even the Aegean have been unearthed, showing that ancient Israel wasn't an isolated kingdom, but a vibrant hub of international commerce. We've found olive pits from the Mediterranean coast deep in the desert and pottery from Cyprus in the hills of Judea. This wasn't just about goods. It was an exchange of ideas, cultures, and technologies that shaped the society we read about. But trade and prosperity often attract conflict. One of the most harrowing events in the Old Testament is the Assyrian siege of Lachish. For a long time, the biblical account was our only source. Then, archaeologists uncovered the Lachish reliefs in the palace of the Assyrian king Sennacherib. These massive, detailed carvings depict the entire siege in brutal detail: the ramps, the battering rams, the soldiers, and the desperate defenders. Back in Lachish itself, excavations have revealed the actual Assyrian siege ramp, along with arrowheads and sling stones, silent witnesses to that ferocious battle. It's a chilling moment when you can stand in a place and touch the evidence of a story told for millennia. Beyond kings and conflicts, what about the everyday people? Was literacy common, or was it reserved for an elite few? A fascinating discovery of numerous small inscriptions, known as ostraca, provides a clue. These pottery sherds, used as ancient notepads, were found in a military outpost. They contain mundane messages, requests for supplies, troop movements, simple greetings. The handwriting isn't perfect. It's the writing of ordinary soldiers. This suggests that literacy was far more widespread than previously believed, giving us a glimpse into the daily lives and communications of the average person, not just the scribes and priests. Perhaps the most electrifying discovery for biblical history came from Tel Dan, in northern Israel. In 1993, archaeologists found a broken stone slab, a victory stele, erected by an Aramean king. What made the world sit up and take notice was a single, clear inscription: Beit David, or House of David. This was the first ever archaeological evidence for the existence of King David's dynasty outside the Bible. For skeptics who had long dismissed David as a mythical figure, this was a game-changer. It was physical proof, carved in stone, that the dynasty of Israel's most famous king was real and recognized by its enemies. The discoveries continue to this day, often where we least expect them. Just recently, right in the heart of Jerusalem, near the Western Wall, archaeologists were using advanced scanning technology when they found something incredible. Hidden behind a massive wall of Herodian stone was a previously unknown chamber. It was a small, ornate room, beautifully finished, unlike anything else in the area. What was it for? Was it a private study for a priest, a council room, or something else entirely? The investigation is just beginning, but it's a powerful reminder that history is not a closed book. It's a living, breathing story, with new chapters waiting to be uncovered right beneath our feet. From vast trade networks to personal notes, and from brutal sieges to hidden chambers, archaeology is continuously revealing the vibrant, complex, and very real world of ancient Israel. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey into the past as fascinating as I did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more explorations into history. The chamber was silent. Dust floated in the thin beam of light. The stone slab leaned against the wall, untouched for more than 2,000 years. The letters carved into it were shallow, worn by time. But they were there, clear enough to read, clear enough to change everything. One of the team members carefully traced the shapes with her eyes. Ancient Hebrew, old script, not decorative, not ceremonial. It looked official, like a record, or a dedication, or a warning. They photographed it, measured it, recorded every detail. No one spoke loudly, because in archaeology, excitement must wait. Evidence comes first. The inscription was taken to a lab for analysis. Stone composition was tested. Tool marks were examined. The soil from the chamber floor was dated. Pottery fragments found nearby were catalogued. Nothing could be rushed. Weeks passed, then months. Outside the lab, news slowly spread that something important had been found beneath Jerusalem. Scholars from around the world requested access to images. Debate began before the full translation was even published, because some of the letters formed a name, a royal name, a name linked to one of the earliest kings mentioned in ancient sources. If authentic, it would provide one of the strongest archaeological links yet to a debated period of Israel's early monarchy. But archaeology is careful, very careful. The script style matched the estimated period. The stone surface showed natural aging. There were no signs of modern carving tools, no evidence of recent tampering. Still, experts reviewed everything, multiple times. The translation team worked slowly. Ancient inscriptions are not like modern writing. Letters can be broken, words can be incomplete, meanings can shift depending on context. At first, the inscription seemed simple. It appeared to describe the construction or repair of a structure. It mentioned protection, strength, leadership, and then the name appeared clearly in the center line. The room where the translation was finalized was quiet, because if the dating, context, and inscription all aligned, this was not just a stone. It was a voice from nearly 3,000 years ago, a voice carved in rock, a voice buried under centuries of conflict, rebuilding, and change. When the official report was released, it did not shout. It did not claim certainty beyond evidence. It stated facts, location, layer, dating methods, text transcription, possible interpretations. Some scholars welcomed it as powerful confirmation of early state-level organization in Jerusalem. Others urged caution. They pointed out that one inscription does not prove the scale of a kingdom. It proves presence, administration, memory, but scale remains debated. And that is the nature of archaeology. It rarely gives full answers. It gives fragments, clues, pieces of a much larger story. The discovery sparked renewed interest in excavation beneath ancient sites. Funding increased. New surveys were conducted using ground-penetrating radar. Technology allowed researchers to see beneath the surface without digging immediately. More underground spaces were identified, more possible chambers, but not all were accessible. Some lay beneath modern buildings, homes, streets, places where digging was impossible. History lives beneath the present, and sometimes it must remain there. Meanwhile, in the north, excavations continued at sites like Megiddo and Hazor. More layers were uncovered. Evidence of trade, evidence of destruction, evidence of rebuilding. At Lachish, researchers re-examined the Assyrian siege ramp. Modern tools measured angles and stone placement. The engineering was astonishing. The ramp still stands as physical proof of an empire's power. At Masada, conservation teams worked to preserve fragile artifacts. Textiles, seeds. Every small object adds detail to a bigger picture. Archaeology in Israel does not end. It continues every year. Because the land is small, but the history is vast. And every excavation reminds us of something important. History is not just written in books. It is written in soil, in walls, in broken pottery, in inscriptions carved by hands long gone. The stone slab discovered beneath Jerusalem was eventually placed in a climate-controlled facility. Protected, studied, displayed carefully. Visitors now look at it through glass. They read translations beside it. They listen to guides explain its context. But what they see is more than an artifact. They see connection to people who lived, built, planned, and believed thousands of years ago. Yet even after this discovery, mysteries remain. There are still unexplored caves near the Dead Sea, still sealed layers beneath ancient cities, still debates among scholars about timelines, borders, and rulers. Israel archaeology documentaries often end with a discovery, But real archaeology does not end. It moves forward, slowly, carefully, sometimes unexpectedly, and sometimes discoveries raise new questions stronger than the answers they provide. The inscription beneath Jerusalem confirmed that powerful leadership existed earlier than some believed. But it did not answer how united the region was. It did not show the daily lives of ordinary people. It did not reveal every political detail. It added one strong piece to a large and complex puzzle. And that puzzle stretches far beyond one city. Because ancient Israel was never isolated. It interacted with Egypt, with Assyria, with Babylon, with Persia. Each empire left traces. Coins, architecture, administrative systems. And beneath those layers, older foundations remain, perhaps still undiscovered. As the sun sets again over Jerusalem, golden light reflects off stone walls that have stood for centuries. Tourists walk above ground. Children laugh in the streets. Cars pass over hidden tunnels. Few realize how much lies beneath their feet. Archaeologists do. They know that the ground is not silent. It holds memory. And somewhere, beneath stone and soil, another chamber may still wait. Sealed, undisturbed, holding a fragment of text, a forgotten record, a name not yet known. Because in Israel, history is never finished. It is always one layer deeper. And the next discovery may already be there, waiting. Thanks for watching. Kindly like, comment, and subscribe for more historical documentary.